Good morning. Welcome to First Parish in Waltham. We are so glad you are here. Whoever you are, wherever you are in life's journey, you are welcome here. My name is Dan Diano, and I serve as Assistant Treasurer on the Board of Managers. My pronouns are he and his, and I am a gray-bearded, bald-headed white man wearing a sort of springy salmon pink plaid shirt and two-layered flannel-lined pants because I live in the real world. Here are this week's announcements. We try to make our services as accessible as possible with assisted listening headphones and large print versions of our service materials available from our ushers. And if you look back, you will see our ushers in case you don't know them back there. This week's newsletter was packed with lots of exciting information about upcoming events and activities. Paper copies are available at the entrances to the building, and if you want to sign up to receive an email copy each week, please speak to a greeter or usher. Our annual retreat to Ferry Beach has been rescheduled this year. Instead of Memorial Day weekend, we have opted for the weekend of September 19th to 21. So we're moving from spring to fall. Maybe it'll be warm by then. We'll see. More information will follow. Our busy weekend is not over yet. We had game night on Friday, the auction and talent show were last night, and there is a Seder this evening. Thank you to all who helped with these events and filled our weekend with opportunities for joy. And the auction is not over until it's over, and it's not over until 4 o'clock this afternoon. You can still go online and bid on items, even outbid your friends if you do it in a friendly way. The forsythia on the altar were placed by Karen Klein in memory of her beloved mother, Agnes Mullen Wilk, and in honor of Listy Smith and the many generations of the Smith family who worshiped here. And I believe they go all the way back to the beginning of this church. You are all encouraged to wear a hat next week for the Easter service. We are looking forward to seeing any decorations you may want to add to those hats. At 12:15 in the chapel, we will be screening the first of 3 videos as part of our training about the anti-trans movement. It is a 25-minute session titled Trans 101 and is an exploration of gender diversity. Some people who have followed the instructions to watch the video or read the transcript in the comfort of their own home. However you watch it, there is a discussion session tomorrow evening, Monday evening on Zoom, at 6:30 p.m. for anyone who wants to join in. And it will use the usual Sunday services link, which was published in the newsletter about the training that was sent out on Tuesday. And now, Reverend Elka, if you want to, are you going to step up to the lectern? Or?
Sure, I can do that. Hey. I'm Reverend Elka. I'm the settled minister here at First Parish Waltham. I'm a middle-aged person with short hair, blue eyes, white skin, and mixed separates on today with a bright red stole that was a present for my installation last year, or several years ago now, at my last church. I am here to tell you an announcement this morning about our staffing. Many of you may remember that our beloved music director, Emma, agreed to step in and help out with the office manager position on a very temporary basis many years ago. She said she'd do it for a year. It's been 3. We're really especially grateful, I especially am especially grateful, but I know April is too, that she stuck it out for this past year, because there is no way we could have survived this year with all new staff, with 3 new staff people, and a very part-time person being the only person with any longevity on the staff. And she has really carried us through. And it's time for her to transition out of that role and focus more on her music director role here and other musical positions outside of the church that she is holding. So with so much gratitude for the gifts that she's shared in that role and for the ways that she will continue to share her gifts with us and not go anywhere away from us anytime soon, I hope, I wanted to let you all know that that transition is coming and that we are going to seek to hire a new person in that role over the course of the summer to hopefully start in the fall. You'll hear more about that as we get into the budgeting talks, but we wanted to tell you that now from us. So you could celebrate Emma. Yeah. And now let's rise, and if you're willing and able, and wave to the folks on Zoom. The camera is up by the exit sign. There are so many folks joining us from Zoom this week and who join every week. Thank you for being here, all of you. If you suddenly and unexpectedly feel joy, don't hesitate. Give in to it. There are plenty of lives and whole towns destroyed or about to be. We are not wise and not very often kind, and much can be never redeemed. Still, life has some possibility left. Perhaps this is its way of fighting back, that sometimes something happens better than all the riches or power in the world. It could be anything, but very likely you notice it in the instant when love begins. Anyway, that's often the case. Anyway, whatever it is, don't be afraid of its plenty. Joy is not made to be a crumb. May these words by Mary Oliver shape this sacred space we create here together. Come, let us worship. And will you join me in our chalice lighting today? Will you turn in your gray hymnal to number 419 and read it with me? It's one of my favorites. 419 is a little bit towards the back, right? All in the back of the hymnal, there's all sorts of readings. 419 is in the beginning of the readings section. All right. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the verities and the realities of existence. The bliss of growth, the glory of action, the splendor of beauty. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. Thank you. And will you rise in body and spirit and join me in our opening hymn? It's also in your gray hymnal, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. It's 361, I believe. Yes? 361? Please stay standing if you're already up to join us in our unison affirmation. The words are in your order of service. They start with capital L, love. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Thank you. You may sit. April is on vacation is off this week, so she can spend the weekend with Chris on one of his only weekends home before he's away for much of the summer season, which starts, now. And so I'm going to tell you a story this morning. It's called The Tiger and the Strawberry. It's an old Zen koan, which is another word for parable, which means it's kind of short and has lots of different interpretations, lots of different ways you could focus on the messages. And it starts with a person running through the woods. They were running from a tiger. The tiger had been chasing them for a while, and they were starting to get weary, and then another tiger joins behind the tiger. You know how sometimes they come right alongside and then they're running together? And then there were two, and this person just keeps running and running, and the tigers are running after them, and they're getting weary, but they keep going. And another tiger comes out of nowhere, and now there's three. And they're running, and they're running, and they're running, and they reach a cliff. They see the cliff in the distance. They know the cliff is there. They have nowhere else they can go. They look, they try to find some other place they can go. They get to the edge of the cliff, and they have to stop running for a second there, and they start trying to climb down the cliff, because the cliff is covered in vines, and they think, this will work, or there's really no other choice. So they start climbing down the vine, because it's better than the other option, which is immediately getting eaten by this tiger. As they start climbing down, they look down at the bottom of the cliff, and there's tigers down there too. Tigers above, tigers below, tigers coming from all directions and growling at them. They're holding on to one vine with one hand and another with another, and trying to climb down, but not seeing another vine for this right hand holding on to this one. Out of nowhere comes a mouse. What's a mouse doing with all these tigers around? I have no idea. I would be scared if I were a mouse with tigers. But this mouse comes out of nowhere and starts nibbling on the edge of this vine that is the right hand is desperately clutching. A little nibble more, a little more nibble. Can't find the lower thing, but there's this mouse. And while looking for what to do, the left hand notices, or they notice that the left hand is right near a vine that has some strawberries starting to grow on them. Any ideas what they do? Yeah? Yeah. They try to get the strawberry. From the left hand, they're able to reach to the strawberry while the mouse is chewing and the tigers are growling both above and below. They grab the strawberry ever so carefully, and they picked a really ripe one. You know what I'm talking? When they're really ripe and they're juicy, and you can almost smell the sweetness before it's anywhere near your face, one of those really juicy, wild strawberries, they manage to get it into their mouth and enjoy it quite a bit. The end. It's really where the story ends. April always gives you a challenge at the end of her stories. There's a lot of challenges you can take from this one. But here's mine for today. Whenever there are tigers, eat the strawberry. Enjoy the strawberry, because the strawberry is worth it. And there may always feel like tigers are around, Like there might feel like tigers lurking all around you. Enjoy the strawberry, because there are strawberries all around you too. And sometimes they're harder to see than the tigers. But they're there, and your friends can help remind you where to find them or how to cherish them. They're worth taking the time to find and enjoy and share with each other. Will you rise in body or in spirit for our next hymn? It's called This Joy. The words are in your order of service. And I think we're doing it a cappella, yes? We're doing it a cappella. And the choir's going to give you a hand, and then go to their classes once we're done singing. Children and youth, you're invited to go, and teachers, you're invited to make your way to your classes. You can go. Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Here.
Good morning. Thank you. I am a member of the Care Committee and am introducing the joys and concerns that we have today. It's great to come off of the music we just heard.
See them enjoy Brazilian culture. So much joy woven in with all of the things that we are carrying that are complicated or hard too. And we know that there are always joys, sorrows, or combinations that are too tender to be shared publicly. So we'll light one final candle in honor of all that we just hold still in our hearts. Do you want to light it? Do you want me to? Yeah. Oh, that one got put out. Okay. And will you stay in this reflective, prayerful, meditative, magic space with me for a little while? Do whatever is right for you in your body to prepare for something important. Maybe that means taking a few big, deep breaths or wiggling around in your seat so that you can feel your feet firmly on the ground, or sitting up a little taller to make some more space between your vertebrae. Maybe you close your eyes or lower your gaze, turn a little inward for a moment. Maybe you focus your attention on your breath, how it rises and falls, how it feeds you. Will you bring to mind for me an extremely joyful memory? A time you laughed so loud that your whole body shook uncontrollably, or that you just couldn't help but smile for so long that your face hurt a little? Can you recall what that felt like in your body? From the tips of your toes all the way up to the top of your head. What sensations do you remember? How were you changed by that moment? How did it work in and through you? Did it lead you towards more joy? Towards more liberation? Did it expand you in some way? Did it open your heart to something new or someone new? Just let that wash over you for a little while if you can. If your first memory goes flat, maybe you try to find another. So you continue to feed your body with the sensation of abundant, all-consuming joy, the way it lifts you a little bit off the ground, the way it opens you, the way it shifts you around, reminding you what's really important. When you are ready, will you imagine with me sharing that joy with your neighbors here? Maybe it emanates from your body like rays of light and fills this whole space with the sensations of joy, with the feeling of joy and the way it moves in us and inspires us. Maybe you envision that joy spreading much wider than this sanctuary, than this city, than wherever each of us are tuning in over Zoom. Maybe you envision it spreading much, much wider than that still. We need more joy in this whole world. how might everything change if we could truly share that feeling that comes from deep within us of joy that the world didn't give us and the world cannot take away. If we truly let it build and be contagious and let the whole world be overcome. There is not some correct special time to feel our joy, to relish our joy, to enjoy every strawberry that we find. Now is the time. May all that is sacred hear these spoken calls for more joy in the world, and all the prayers and meditations and yearnings that remain in our hearts now in a time of quiet. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen. Each week we set aside a time in our service to practice the value of generosity. We practice this value here with our community because we know that we are stronger and more powerful together when we share all that we have. And we practice this generosity in a whole bunch of other ways throughout our church lives. This week, for our offering piece, Michael has prepared something pretty powerful and special. It was written by Sting. In 1973, there was a coup in Chile that was backed by the United States military forces. General Pinochet took over. He then started a reign of terror, of particularly attacking activists. More than 3,000 people were disappeared during that time under his control that we know of now. Again, this was all US-backed. One of the protests that emerged out of the people of Chile was the women who had been left behind by their spouses being disappeared, danced alone in the squares in front of the government buildings. They did this in small groups and in large groups all over the country. They danced traditional dances that were partner dances with pictures of their loved ones who had gone missing, who they had no idea the whereabouts of, some of whom were imprisoned for long periods, some of whom just were gone forever as soon as they were abducted. How powerful a protest, right? That when visiting, Sting wrote this piece to share this story with the world, how the women danced alone to honor their beloveds who had been taken from them. The offering will now be gratefully given and received.
On their own, what is the sadness in their eyes? Why are all these soldiers here, their faces fixed like stone? I can't see what it is they despise. They're dancing with the missing, they're dancing with the dead. dance with the invisible ones. Their anguish is unsaid. They're dancing with their fathers. They're dancing with their sons. They dance with their husbands. They dance alone. It's the only form of protest they're allowed. I've seen their silent faces. They scream so loud. If they were to speak their words, they'd go missing too. Another woman on the torture table. What else can they do? They're dancing with the missing. They're dancing with the dead. They dance with the invisible ones. Their anguish is unsaid. They dance with their fathers. They're dancing with their sons. They dance with their husbands. They dance alone. One day we'll dance on their graves. One day we'll sing our freedom. One day we'll laugh in our joy. And we'll dance. One day we'll dance on their graves. One day we'll sing our freedom. One day we'll laugh in our joy. And we'll dance. Hey, Mr. Pinochet, you son of a crop. It's foreign money that supports you. One day the money's gonna stop. No wages for your torturers, no money for your guns. Can you think of your own mother dancing with her invisible son? They're dancing with the missing. They're dancing with the dead. They dance with the invisible ones. Their anguish is unsaid. They dance with their fathers. They're dancing with their sons. They're dancing with their husbands. They dance alone. One day we'll dance on their graves. One day we'll sing our freedom. One day we'll laugh in our joy. And we'll dance. One day we'll dance on our grace. One day we'll sing our freedom. One day we'll laugh in our joy. And we'll dance. And we'll dance. And we'll dance.
First, my name is Emily. The reading today is a poem by Rabbi Rachel Barenblatt entitled Ready. It begins with a quote from Exodus 12:34, and I quote, "So the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kneading bowls wrapped in their cloaks upon their shoulders." And here is the poem. You'll need to travel light. Take what you can carry, a book, a poem, a battered tin cup, your child strapped to your chest, clutching your necklace in one hot, possessive fist. So the dough isn't ready. So your heart isn't ready. You haven't said goodbye to the places where you hid as a child, to the friends who aren't interested in the journey, to the graves you've tended. But if you wait until you feel fully ready, you may never take the leap at all. And infinity is calling you forth out of this birth canal and into the future's wide expanse. Learn to improvise flat cakes without yeast. Learn to read new alphabets. Wear God like a cloak and stride forth with confidence. You won't know where you're going, but you have the words of our sages, the songs of our mothers, the inspiration wrapped in your kneading bowl. Trust that what you carry will sustain you, and take the first step out the door.
At the end of my first week on Star Island, a magical place in the Isle of Shoals on the New Hampshire-Maine border, I decided that I wanted to pack my 6-person family for their first ferry trip home from that family camp on our last morning, not the night before, despite having to have all our luggage ready to go by like 8 a.m. in the morning. There was a banquet and a dance party, and I was having fun, and I didn't want to pack yet. I wanted to pack in the morning. It was the summer of 2021, so after the intense loneliness and relentless caretaking of the lockdown, I needed some fun pretty badly. And this was the first time I had really felt that kind of fun, that joy, the dancing, the spontaneous karaoke that was started by me and Chris Rosario, April's husband. My then spouse believed I would regret this choice in the morning. So he grabbed his phone and filmed me on the porch. The video goes like this. Spouse, what is the choice that you are making? Me, I am enthusiastically choosing joy now. And then, out of nowhere, this is the best part of the video is photobombed by my new friend, April Rosario, who sticks just her head in, so you can just see her head on the side of the film, and goes, "Joy now!" Last spring, I agonized over whether to leave my former congregation, even though I knew I needed to, and had gotten all the way through the search process with this amazing place, and at the same time I had been struggling for years with big questions about my marriage, whether what I needed was possible within it. I was desperate for any and all signs to help point me in the right direction, and I stumbled once again upon that video. Joy now! 2 big signs also came that same week, and I said yes to coming here and asked for the trial separation from my spouse. Throughout that week, you know what I heard in my head again and again? April's voice saying, "Joy now," in exactly the way she does in the video, which sounds just like that. It was only a few days later that I got a text message from April about a Star Island logistical thing that turned into us catching up. And she said, "You won't believe it. I'm leaving Taunton and starting a new job in Waltham in August." I literally gasped, almost dropped my phone on the ground, and called her right away to tell her that I was also coming here too in August. This was the Wednesday before you all found out that the two of us were coming here. And as I navigated the extremely painful and intense process of leaving my former congregation and separating from my spouse, that call towards joy now in April's voice rang in my head again and again. Now, this would be a really cool story if it wasn't April, right? If it wasn't the person I was coming to work with. But because it is her, and because working here with her and with Emma and KJ and all of you has been such a life-affirming and wonderful thing, it's the kind of story I will likely hold on to for the rest of my life as a sign that we are often led exactly where we are supposed to go when we listen to the signs that say, no, joy now. I am deeply grateful for my time with my former congregation and my former spouse, and when it was clear that joy meant leaving those places, I wasn't ready, and I left just the same. I second-guessed myself again and again. I even got back together with my spouse for a while before we determined that that wasn't going to work, but that mantra kept me going still. Sometimes joy now means leaving behind what we think is supposed to bring us joy for what actually will. Sometimes it means finding joy on the journey no matter where the road is leading you, because hopefully we are always on the road towards more freedom, even as it may seem right now like we are moving in the wrong direction. And we are definitely always on the road towards our own death whenever it will come. Either way, we need to find and enjoy whatever strawberries we can find, right? Right now, it might not feel like we're moving towards more freedom. It surely doesn't in a big societal way. Not when diversity, equity, and inclusion is under attack as a nation, which is to say that all of the advancements brought about by the civil rights movement that we can remember or that have happened long ago for all those who are marginalized are under attack, including rights for BIPOC folks, disabled folks, neurodivergent folks, and so many more. Rights that were already tenuous. Not when legislation meant to limit access to life-saving gender-affirming care has exploded to over 180 bills in 2024 alone. Not when the SAVE Act, which just passed, has made it much more difficult and expensive for all those who have different names on their IDs than on their birth certificates, creating effectively a poll tax or complete disenfranchisement for lots of trans folks and all those who have ever changed their name, which means 84% of women in opposite-sex marriages and 6% of men. Not when people with active visas are being disappeared from the streets of even cities like Somerville, which has been a sanctuary city since 1987, and other reports of ICE not following due process or the law at all continue to come to light across the country, but also right here in Waltham, happening to your neighbors right now. And certainly not when huge immigration detention centers are being built to house all of these folks who are being taken from their homes and families, jobs and communities. This week, our Jewish siblings are celebrating Passover, which marks the liberation of their people from slavery in Egypt. The people who fled without waiting for the bread to rise had never known another home. They had never known life outside of bondage. And before the chance to flee arrived, they had to navigate through quite a few plagues, meant to change the cruel leader's mind about keeping them under his control, but that harmed everyone too. So everything got a lot worse before the chance to flee arrived quickly. In fact, Passover is quite a violent portrayal of people fighting for their freedom. And just as the Egyptians, who had done nothing wrong but allow for their leader to enslave and oppress people, so I guess something, were paying the price for their complicity and silence with the loss of their firstborn children, the chance to flee arrived. There wasn't time to wait for the bread to rise or to say goodbye to their childhood homes. Not time to say farewell to all they have ever known. But if you wait until you feel fully ready, the poet reminds us, you may never take the leap at all. And infinity is calling you forth out of this birth canal and into the future's wide expanse. It never feels like the right time to jump from comfort to the complete unknown. But the times come when the pain of staying stuck is more than the pain of rebirth into a freer version of yourself, don't they? This can look like actually leaving a place, a situation, a relationship, a community. It can also look like living with more integrity and honesty within those places, or like sharing more authenticity with the world every day. And we know that this Exodus wasn't the end of their journey to liberation, but the beginning of the next part of their journey, one that would be characterized by singing and dancing. They traveled towards freedom to the music of Miriam's tambourine. Today, our Christian siblings honor what is called Palm Sunday, an act of political theater, a protest framed as a parade. On his way to his death, to which Jesus submitted himself, he threw a parade. Maybe part of the message was, you can kill me, but you cannot kill all that I've ignited in my people. Maybe part of the message was, eat all the strawberries. Whatever kind of liberation we are journeying towards a promised land here on earth, or towards a promised land in the sweet release of death, or both, where can we find and eat the strawberries that surround us? And how can we make the journeys themselves sweeter and more delicious? Lithuanian-born activist and writer Emma Goldman famously said, "If I can't dance, I don't want to be a part of your revolution." You may have heard this quote if you're a fan of the UU famous group Emma's Revolution, who named their group after this quote. But you may not know that Emma was a pivotal figure in the creation of anarchist thought, was incarcerated several times, and was ultimately deported, along with many other activists, during the Red Scare of 1919 and 1920. In fact, when the deportation of activists began, Emma refused to answer any questions from the authorities, stating that she was a United States citizen and therefore could not be deported. But we know that they deported many activists who are citizens, stating that they were criminals and that negated their status as citizens within the United States. Many of these criminal actions, of course, were mostly activist-related actions. Inciting a riot was one of the things Emma Goldman was put in jail for. And while most of the photos that I've been able to find of Emma Goldman have her looking quite severe, she lived an incredible life of service to the cause of liberation, was in and out of prison throughout her life, cared for her partner who was imprisoned in harsh conditions for over 20 years, and always found time to dance while protesting. Current activist, comedian, scholar, and author Alok Vaid-Menon has said, "Humorlessness is what loses any campaign for social change." And when asked about this quote in a recent interview, they said, "What's really frustrating is most people think that trans people are just snowflakes, humorless, hypersensitive. But if you spend a couple of centuries surviving attempted eradication, you get kind of bored of being depressed. It's just a major buzzkill, you know? So then you just have a lot of time on your hands to do something else, and you start cracking jokes to survive. And then you begin to realize that actually maybe part of the oppression is keeping you miserable. Because whenever there's a sense that is a space that is comedic, that's a space of possibility and expansion. So what I realized in my own life was there are powers that be that want me to hate myself and to be sad. And what's profoundly rebellious when you're a marginalized person is recognize that people might be able to take away your rights. They may be able to take away your safety, but they can't take away your joy. So humor for me has become a practice of resistance. And they have made Comedy, a huge part of their activism work. They bring a brilliance and a deep theological wisdom to that comedy that is truly inspiring to me. Sometimes, dancing alone in the square in front of a government building when your beloved has been disappeared is the best protest we could ever organize, especially if it's the only one we're allowed. Building a network of neighborhood watch that watches out for those that might take others from us, that protects our neighbors from being disappeared themselves, and gathering for fellowship and connection like that group did this week that has grown out of Waltham and this church. That is resistance too. Laughing and dancing together, sharing our talents in a church hall is resistance. Fostering joy right now is the resistance that we all need. It can feel like all of life is running from tigers. Sometimes they're both above and below, growling at you, reminding you that you are indeed mortal and beholden to so many systems that could just take the floor right out from underneath you. Sometimes they call you names, sometimes slurs, emboldened by powerful, hateful people. Sometimes you cannot escape them or drown out the noise entirely, but you can eat the strawberry. You can find and foster places where love is centered and people are willing to do the hard work of inclusion. You can laugh with your whole body. You can dance even when you are alone because everyone has been taken from you. Your joy cannot be taken from you, and we need your joy right now. So will you dance? And will you laugh? Let us find the joy that the world didn't give us deep down in our souls and share it with each other. Let's start right now, even if we do not feel ready, because the tigers are coming and you deserve joy now. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen. Our final hymn this morning is number 1018, Come and Go With Me, and it has a pretty good beat if you want to dance along. I thought about just having the benediction be joy now, exactly that. But then I found these words by Rosemary Watola Tromer called Kinetic Joy, so I'm going to share them with you as I extinguish the chalice and send you on your way. But I'll also tell you that both the prelude and the postlude, as usual, Emma finds incredible ways to weave it all together, were dance-inspired, so perhaps you dance during the postlude as well. It's perhaps like billiards, in which the cue ball collides with another ball, and the kinetic energy passes on to the second ball. That's how it is when you, in your joy, collide with me in a hug. And your joy passes on to me, and every molecule vibrating as your bliss becomes my bliss, your joy becomes my joy, until I'm dizzy with it, spinning with it, rolling around the room with it. In fact, it's what I was made for, to be moved by you and your joy. You are a blessing, friends. Go now and bless this beautiful and broken world.